What's up, Trios Drive, bringing you guys another top 16 decklist video for the OPE Bristol Regionals in Europe that happened this past weekend. I know we're a little late on it, but that just be life sometimes. I just want to remind everybody, if you guys are interested in playing BT23, every week we have a webcam tournament here at Eagle's Nest. Join the Discord, links in the description below sometimes, but it's definitely on the screen right now. On top of that, every Thursday I'm hosting a cookie run tournament. If you guys know anybody, please let them know or come to the stream and learn what it is, because I've been having a blast hosting this tournament, and the community seems to appreciate it, so it's nice to be of a service to people. But anyway, here we are. Man, has this been some of the greatest clickbait arguments I've had on the recent streams. Is the question on everybody's mind: is Hudiemon a problem? And the honest answer is, I don't know if this one tournament is enough. It definitely all right, keeping it a buck, I've been of the opinion that Hudiemon is not as strong as everybody's been saying. I don't think Hudiemon is in a position right now that requires any kind of ban list things. And I just strongly feel that we're gonna see the meta evolve going forward. I think with this pie chart, I don't think it proves the believers. I guess I don't think this pie chart proves the believers, but I also obviously doesn't prove the disbelievers. I think this is an interesting pie chart in the middle. It's 6 out of the top 16. It's right before that 50% mark. And I think something we also have to keep in mind is A, it's the first tournament, and B, the Digimon community is still going through a lot of growing pains in terms of understanding how a meta is supposed to evolve. For a long time, we all know we've been used to just copying Japan's homework and having a launch pad for every format using what was working well in Japan. Not necessarily the case here in English, right? Like, not anymore, right? Unification has definitely changed how our metas have been evolving in terms of the English side of the card game. So our first event, Hudiemon, obviously the best deck of the format of the tournament. And multiple variants. We'll go through them as we go through them. But I generally think it's an interesting precipice we'll be on, and I think a lot of more information is gonna be needed going forward. Seeing what the tournament results in future tournaments are going to look like would be really nice. But I don't think this proves one way or the other. I still don't think the deck needs to get banned. But I don't think this one tournament proves me right or wrong. I guess this is kind of a really in between the roads kind of a pie chart here we're looking at. But with that said, let's take a look at our list, right? So we got top 16. We did have a day 2 top cut, but we are going to talk about top 16th. In no particular order here, the top 16, we got Jam Fox on Mastemon. We have it listed as CS Mastemon just to lump up all the Mastemons together. One of the main focuses is clearly the CS Mastemon with some of the CS everything else. We got the CS Lady and Angela one, so we just kind of lumped it all together. And we got good old CS Mirai as well. So that being said, clearly a pure yellow, purple Gatos and vaccine type shenanigans here. We got 4 of the ever needing to be banned Potato. We got the Hudiemon, which Hudiemon is actually surprisingly interesting to me. You can it's just a really good searcher for the vaccine, and then the yellow tamer searcher. There's not a lot of those going around. The fact that it just kind of sneaks its way into the deck really nicely, being a holy beast and a vaccine, is really nice. And then on top of that, we do have the Salamon that lets you start a main phase Digivolve from the trash for -1, which can kind of come up a lot. Can we go into this guy? It can go into a holy beast, right? Yeah, holy beasts are free. So all of our level 4s are in fact holy beasts. And so we're able to any level 4 in trash. We have the Repamon. I think the Repamon tech here definitely allows you to Not really like trashing the security of plays, right? That's always a randomly good effect, but I guess this one is literally just for that, because the when Digivolving on play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 30k from the ender, but turn gets minus 6k until the end of their turn. So you can randomly get a minus 9k out of security, which is kind of nice. That being said, like, I think Mastemon lives and dies by its level 4-5 lineup. So we are going to be on 3 and 3 of the new CS ones. These ones are disgustingly good. I think these being able to reduce their play cost by 3 just for having the tamer or the other one, so you can play these for 4, just solves so much of the problems that I feel like Mastemon has been having for the longest time. Just the deck is so expensive, and the ceiling of it has just never been good enough to justify how expensive the cards are. But then to continue on that, we do have a 6-6 split, but the Angelwomons get a little more mixed up here. We get the we have the BT11 one that lets us search our security, and then we have the barrier. We have the Alliance granting one from EX6, as well as the BT11 Lady Devimon to follow everything up there with Retail. These inheritables, I feel like, are a lot better than people think. Like, giving all your angels blockers, especially with how wide Mastemon boards can get sometimes. Alliance is a great way to get the aggression going. And then we're actually multi-ming. That's probably one of the reasons why we decided to fill in a little bit of the blocker, just to have some defensives. Scapegoat on the Lady Devi. This Lady Devi gives everybody retail, so the blocker retail combo is disgusting. And then on top of that, we have our collection of Mastemon. The promo's still a nutty card. I've said it from the beginning. 3 promo Master, 3 secret rare Master from our BT23 set, and then 1 Mastemon ace. Just, I feel like if you're on Mastemon, you kind of have to represent that threat regardless. So it makes sense when you are on a pure Angelwomon Lady Devimon list to at least have 1 ace in the pocket to, like, you know, put your opponent on edge. And who knows how many wins you get just because you revealed it off of a search. They see it and that was your one of, but they don't know that. And then the other curious part is always going to be the Mirai collection. I've always said that I feel like when this Mirai got revealed, that a lot of people, I thought a lot of people were kind of hating on it for no reason. I was like, this is exactly what Mastemon wants. Just raw draw and setting up your trash is like so good for Mastemon. There's at the time, I think there's less now, but there was a good amount of effects that cared about just like picking up a guy from trash, or in this case, and then we're actually maximizing that with the Salamon, right? We just Digivolve in trash anyway. Everything counts as far as I'm aware, right? Because it's Holy Beast, Angel, Archangel, Fallen Angel, CS, right? So anything can be pitched off of the effect except for, I believe, the Patamon, right? Yeah, and Patamon's the only thing that can't be discarded off of the effect, right? Yeah, because he's a mammal. And then a draw too, just raw draw. I feel like people just underestimate how good raw draw is in Digimon. The search, we've had these top X searchers for so long that when people see draw 2, they're not as impressed. But there are decks in this game just that need cards in hand versus like that selective, like I searched the top 10 and I picked 1 card. Like, just more cards in hand lets me do more. And I think Mastemon ends up being one of those decks because just being able to draw out of, you know, it's a tamer heavy deck, right? We got 9 tamers. Like, you got to be able to draw out of those tamers. Digivolving helps you do that. And then that Mirai also, in addition to that, obviously the start of main phase allowing you to play the other Mirais for free, which, like, you know, not for free, for free, right? So you get the draw 1, trash 1, draw 2, and then essentially make this Mirai a 3-cost tamer is kind of good. You'll whiff on the start of your turn, gain 1 memory. But other than that, this one's a great one. Both of them are great to play. We're actually favoring the EX6 one above all else, which makes sense. I feel like this one was always kind of like awkward, especially when how wide the boards go. This one kind of like limits you a little bit. But that being said, congrats Jamfox on top 16. And then we got Rox. Rox, definitely, I thought Rox was kind of donezo. After this format, I felt like Hudiemon was going to be a really strong counter to this deck. But no, this is again top 16, Shadow of Laughter. Proven me wrong once again. that the Rocks is just a good deck and here to stay. Like we are seeing some of the similarities of plenty of previous lists. Tumblemon is just ridiculous. Like I keep saying to people, it's like, it's crazy to me how all the Liberator new cards are pretty much the same thing. Like, right, everyone's got an emblem, everyone's got a level 7 that kind of does like you just read the card and you're like, oh, that's Rocks, right? So you read like Neon Boot and you're like, oh, that's Puppets. You read Arimon, you're like, oh, that is Sea Animal, whoever. Everything just kind of reads and you're like, oh, that fits the archetype. But then they're all good, right? But like, it's just Tumblemon is just the difference maker in this particular deck versus all the other Liberators. Just being able to do what you need to do so efficiently is disgusting. We've even added the Metallic Dramon tech, which I love. Allows you to play your level 7 magnetic Dramon for free, potentially, depending on the board state. Also shutting off your opponent from digivolving their level 4s, I believe, right? And none of your opponent's level 4. Yeah, so that's a great, if you can get into this thing, great counter into Huddy for a turn. It's like basically it is the equivalent of to me it is basically the equivalent of like a well-timed Crimson Blaze or similar effects. Just them not being able to DNA just stops them completely for a turn. And then we're going to just see our collections. I think at this point it's safe to say that everyone maxes out on this Progano. You fill in with this one just because you need the extra name and you need the name for Progano. Progano. And then on top of that, after that, it's kind of dealer's choice between rookies and level 4 lineup. You just play the deck, and eventually you'll feel out what you feel is more important for your own not play style, but like your own lineup of cards. And then the tamer selection as well. Not playing any of the defensive options, just kind of pure gas, just pure combo gas, scramble, training. And then Gravel Hearts, yeah, all great cards, but no like option spice, you know what I'm saying? No I don't know, Zerf Kababis or something, or Breath of the Gods or anything crazy. Favoring the EX8 close over the promo, I find a little curious. I had thought that the promo close was going to be more popular, but I still like this one. The memory setter, while it doesn't give you as much memory, actually gives you 2 cards when you digivolve, which for Tumble is amazing. And then on top of that, this one is here too. I think it's just a good collection. We're on a total of 7 tamers. I think that's a healthy amount of tamers for a deck that wants to just get into a level 7 as soon as turn 2 potentially. That being said, congrats Shadow, but let's talk about our first couple of Hudiemons. This is going to be again top 16 late input. Sorry if you guys saw the webpage earlier. I made a mistake and I made all the Hudiemons the same deck, so I apologize. But this should be... let me double check. Now I'm paranoid. And we're back, and I just got real paranoid really fast about the deck list. Sorry, but that being said, this is going to be sorry, I'm all over the place now. Sorry, this is going to be late input Hudiemon list. So this is going to be the first Hudiemon list we get to talk about, and we're seeing this is going to be the I don't know, there's a lot of terms going around about which Hudiemon is which. I prefer to call this one the options, the options version. We actually did fit in the and when I say the options version, they're definitely fitting in the Ryujis and the Comet Hammer, and then choosing Vulcan Palm and Comet Hammer, 2 of each. So opting to not go for Leaf Crescent or Icicle Shard. The yellow one's kind of the worst one. I don't think anyone's trying to play the yellow one. But this is the monster. This is the monster that everyone is worried about. And I mean, for good reason, right? It is a strong deck. It's definitely the strongest deck to come out of the gate in a minute. But if you've seen it once, you've kind of seen the game plan over and over again. The idea is we're trying to get Angemon, we're trying to get Hudiemon, loop a Chitose a few times, get a bunch of level 4s on board, and then just what's it called? We're trying to get surprisingly only 2 Terriermon. So yeah, and we're just trying to generate a wide board and value. Hudiemon is actually able to do so much removal in the long run, because it can just go so wide with Chitose on board that it gets kind of ridiculous. With only 1 Terriermon, you're not doing the loop shenanigans as much, but with Wormmon and Erica in play, you have extra access into just going to separate Hudiemon, so that's pretty cool as well as like, you know, the new BT23 inheritable that lets you play 5 cost or lower. They can't digivolve, however, so please catch your opponents on that. It is very easy. Like, even at Eagle's Nest, we see a lot of people either digivolving with bodies they're not allowed to digivolve with, attacking with bodies they just played that don't have rush and things like that. So please be careful. But yeah, we have 6 of these to go through, but we are going to see a similar style of, you know, Seadramon, Andromon, and Kilo. Venusmon is a top end just to try to lock out our opponent for that turn so we can win next turn, which happens all the time. It's a great tech. It's a great card. Our Tamer collection is going to be favoring the Amasawa with, well, again, Erica. I prefer every version. And I prefer the deck with Erica than without. And then Yugo, Kamashiro, healer helps us just kind of just as a good card, as a searcher. Also lets you play your Tamers for a reduced cost, so you get to loop into some of your Tamers. Not bad. And then yeah, just the amount of Tamers you can get on board with this deck is kind of crazy, and they all a lot of them just give you extra memory at the start of your turn. So there's so many times where you go to, like, you start your turn, you're starting your turn most of the time at like 6 memory, it feels like. So congrats, late input, top 16. Then we're gonna go into top 16, Daddy Dumpling. This is going to be a different version of Huddy. This is going to be a more of the pure, the version I was speaking to earlier, where it's going to be that more pure, like, focus on just aggression, going wide. We have the memory boost, so we can keep turn extending. We have the Mirai to perfectly, like, you know, cycle through our deck and find all our pieces, play into a different Tamer. We have the 4 Chitose, so we're 100% going to find multiple Chitoses to get crazy loops going with Hudiemon. We have the extra level 5 to DNA too, because we do have blue-green targets, Hudiemon being green, and then we have 2 blue targets on top of that. Shakuamon is also just a great card. It's crazy how good this version of its partition is. Like, I don't understand how they gave this card like a different, just like power crept partition. I don't know. It's a little wild. There's a couple things in this deck where I'm like, if it was any other deck, they would have kneecapped it somehow. Something like how Hudiemon is able to play the same Tamer you just picked up, or like, for example, like, I mean, we just saw it with a different card where, like, you can play, I think it's a Time Stranger collection, or one of the Time Stranger cards. I think it's the Agio. You can play it specifically calls out, like, you can play a Tamer whose name you don't already have on board, and that is definitely something I expected from, like, I would expect to see in some of these cards, but they just don't have it. So interesting enough. Also maxing out on the Terriermon, because we do want to do that just more higher consistency on being able to do that DNA and then banana peel shenanigans that allows this deck to do kind of a lot of what it does. But anyway, congrats, Daddy Dumpling, on top 16. And then we get to talk about a single Beelzemon. Now, Beelzemon, I believe, is a pretty good counter into Hudiemon, and one of the reasons I feel like Hudiemon isn't as strong as people think it is, or at least in terms of, like, I just don't, a lot of people are calling for bans, and I really don't think we're even close to that conversation personally. And things like how well Beelzemon does into Hudiemon, I think is because of that. I think it comes down to that. The option version of Hudiemon does a little better into Beelzemon, but otherwise I think Beelzemon is really great into the deck. Being able to clear their body with an ace play is disgusting, and you can ace off your Impmons, you can ace off your Balmons, and then on top of that, if they're forced to minus DP your Balmons, right? If you just hard drop a Balmon, there's not a lot they can do in terms of like they have to combo and they have to remove your Balmon, and you get a Beelzemon ace for free, and suddenly you're either stealing turn, deleting their Hudiemon, deleting their body that they attacked with, yada yada. It gets kind of disgusting really fast, and there's a good amount of board states that I think Beelzemon has access to that Huddy kind of crumbles into, and I feel like that's all true for a good amount of the decks I feel are the scariest in this format. But I digress. This is COB. I'm sorry, didn't say their name, but it's Beelzemon. You're seeing a focus on actually Ukamon is actually beyond the most interesting here, as well as the on deletion trash the top 2 cards of your deck. I think is curious. I guess it does help you get the 10 in trash earlier, and then also has the potential to steal turn if you flip like a memory, if you flip like one of these Wizardmons, for example, or Death Singer, or wherever it is. Yeah, and I think there's probably one more, I don't remember. But Ukamon, I have not seen Ukamon in Beelzemon before, but I'm not against it. Kind of trim on the level 4 scenario, so it's kind of scary here, but then we are going to see the level 6 lineup is purely ace plus the original EX2, which EX2 has always been kind of one of my favorites. Still though, I think the starter deck one's the one that gains you a good amount of memory. It's hard to pass that one up too. Beelzemon's not in a shortage of cards that make you have to make choices and deck decisions, right? Only 2 X antibodies, but in this day and age, I think you only need to find the one, so 2 makes sense. 1 blast mode, because as long as you mill through your deck, you're going to find the blast mode, and it's honestly one of the best ways for us to go to game. Ruin mode is not as great in this format with Hudiemon, I feel, just because as long as like Hudiemon gets into 2 of the Awagawas, or the white tamer, it gives all the Hudiemons plus 1k per tamer, but per that tamer, right? So if you have a double copy, you're going plus 2k, and at that point they're sitting at 6 or 7k pretty easily, and now they're dodging ruin mode pretty comfortably. So you really have to see the double ruin mode to really lock out Hudiemon. But if you do get that off, and not a lot of decks can beat that, so I'm not gonna harp on it too much. But congrats COB topping with Beelzemon. Then we're gonna move on to our last Mastemon player. This is gonna be Shinai Kari, something like Carry, Shinai Carry, something like that. This is gonna be this is actually like pure CS Mastemon, which I think is interesting. With promo master, we have everything is CS. We got the Ami, the Yugo, the Mirai, no extra Mirais. We got the Kurumi Detective Engines. This is pure CS Mastemon. And am I shocked? I don't think I'm shocked, just because of the idea that, like, I mean, if Hudiemon can do DNA shenanigans, I mean, what's the difference of doing it with your 6s? I do like the one of Beelzemon Chaos Mode. I think is funny. I like it as a cool bridge as well, because it is a yellow purple card, or purple yellow, whatever. Does have an on play, so on play, your opponent may delete one of their Digimon or Tamers. If this effect didn't delete, recover 1, trash your opponent's top security. So like, it's just a cool card. I think this harkens back to what a Mastemon was originally doing, which I really, really love to see. And then it's got its own little protection effect, which is really cute. And then just maxing out on the Angel Woman, Lady Devies, and everything else is involved in trying to just find all your pieces, get into the Mastemon, maybe banana peel, and maybe just go disgusting with it. Who knows? Being able to digivolve into multiple Mastemons, because since DNA is for free, right? So I just can't imagine how gross it gets. It probably gets gross pretty quick. So congrats, Shinikari, on top 16. And then from there, we're going to talk about Pyramidimon. One more rocks. We got top 16 replay with 2 E's. And again, I think nothing's really changed from what I've seen. We're actually not using the metallic Dramon, just going for actually what I said earlier, going for a Zofur Kabus, some tech or some option spice, along with changing the tamer alignment, maxing out on the memory setter, which I already kind of said I kind of like more than the other ones anyway. Not playing any of the new EX10 one, and just going in with double promo. And then after that, I think again, it just really comes down to your preference of rookies. Obviously, you're gonna have a Sunrisa focus, but one Gatsumon's not crazy. Ukamon opening with this deck is so disgusting. It's generally the best opener. Only 8 level 4s, but again, like I said, it's definitely player's choice when it comes to your level 4 situation, and you're seeing the same level 5 situation as the previous player. Actually, the return of Hudiemon itself is kind of amusing to me, and it's playing the new one, so a lot of people like are shocked that people are playing the new one over the old one. It's just the new one just does what you kind of want to do with now the new card lineup, especially with a metallic Digimon in the conversation, right? So there's always that. But anyway, yeah, no, congrats replay on top 16 out of Europe. Let's talk about one more. Hudiemon PKAB. Also, this is our last top 16 player, and we're just gonna see the differences between all our players nonstop. We're gonna see a return to the option package this time. Crescent Leaf makes a showing here, being able to bottom deck any suspended Digimon, which is kind of gross, honestly. And then we got a little bit of our memory, our cheating delays. They're not both memory delays. This is our memory boost, and this is like our digital gate open, I guess, but still does just some good card draw, right? I can't complain about that. We're seeing the Amasawa, the Erica, the Ryuji, because we are on the options. Chitose at a lower number, but we are upping the number of our DNA targets, along with I gotta love seeing Wormmon. We're actually adding Palmon to the list as well, but still kind of just just our favorite collection of level 3s here from BT23 as well. The same level 4 lineup seems to be pretty much where we're at. So let's break into the top 8, which I think our first top 8 list is really interesting. This is going to be Edgar EXS, something like that. But we didn't know what to call this. This is just pure DM, and the reason I didn't know what to call is like, look, like normally you say DM and you're like, oh, they're on Mastemon top end. They're not. They got a really cool ace top end. They got medieval as a level 6, and Beelzemon's cool as well, especially once you can digivolve into Invisi and then like leave your Vademon up. Like that is kind of amusing in itself. Or you can digivolve into your board could go wide. Something else digivolve into Beelzemon, your board goes wide, something else attacks, and then Invisi puts itself to the top, and then you can attack with Vademon anyway. Like there is some shenanigans with this deck that I really like, and I'm really happy to see how well they did. Again, being able to bounce Tamers the way this deck does, like if you resolve, I feel like if you're on this deck and you're into Huddy, you resolve this Vademon Tamer bounce like twice, you're gonna be so far ahead. Like maybe I'm crazy, but just being able to slow them 1 to 2 Tamers down might be enough to just win you games. And they got top 8, so I might be right. We're seeing the introduction of the new Digimon Emperor again. I think this is just more Hudiemon hate, and it makes sense. Like, I mean, we gotta see the players around us adapt. I love the one of Ice Wall. Fire Island is a disgusting card, and Digimon Emperor also helps against Huddy, especially if they're on versions playing Erica and trying to promote rookies at the start of their turn. Analog, just almost maxing out on both analog youths is very funny, but you have to play this one at 4. It's just kind of mandatory. But other than that, no, congrats on just DM version 2 is what I'm calling this. It's not even Mastemon, so I did not want to call it that. Very fun list. I would have loved to see this one ran live, man. Like it's just a cool list. Even Monochromon's here, which I think is the best level 4 for on plays in DM right now. That being said, let's move on to, I think this might be our final Rocks player, top 8, Mach, and playing the Floodgate. The only problem with this Floodgate right now is like, oh, Hudiemon plays by effect, but Hudiemon answers Floodgates pretty easily. So we'll have to see how this works out for the player, but it's in archetype, so I can't be too mad. But it is still closed. We actually are we're seeing the Blastmon making its appearance. We saw this earlier towards the end of last format where people were playing the Blastmon. We're seeing Prayer MIDI. We're cutting a level 5 because we really just care about this one's the best one. Collection of 3s. Preferences on 3s and 4s as always, and you're kind of seeing the similar. Actually we're seeing an introduction of Black Memory Boost for the first time in this video, and an extra scramble, maybe cutting down on defense trainings. Makes sense. I can't complain. And then again, the memory setter is still a mainstay in the deck, but we're gonna back it up with the EX10 one. So pretty cool. Congrats, Mock, on top 8 with Rocks. I mean, you're proving to me that Rocks still has a chance, which is really cool to me. I definitely thought the top decks of the format were going to crush this deck, and that didn't happen. So yeah, now we got another Hudiemon. We got Toxin at top 8 place, and we're seeing some of this. Again, the rookie lineup stays kind of the same. The ratios go up and down. You're always going to see these 4 level 4s in some rotation. A couple of other decks you're going to see Golemon, and that one seems to be a niche. Wormmon sometimes is cut as well. We're going to see Double Venus, and then again, the option. We're actually going to see the option lineup again. Not going to go with Leaf Crescent. Definitely feels like Comet Hammer and Vulcan Palm. Those two seem to be the most favored of the 2 delay options. But Ice Archery. It's Ice Archery, not Icicle Archery or whatever. But Ice Archery does make it say it does have it has interesting implications into a lot of matchups. So I don't hate this card. I've seen this card get used really well before. So that's why what I'm amused is we found room to find 1 Mirai in the deck is kind of funny to me. But other than that, not bothering with any extra level 5s. It's all Teacup Man or bust for this player. And so congrats, Toxin. And here's another top 8 list. This is gonna be Royal Knights DHM. Royal Knights, I think, is a great counter into what Hudiemon is doing. You're always playing big bodies, so it's hard for them to potentially always clear your board with their Hudiemon combos. But on top of that, you just have you have not only ace plays that are really strong, we have access to Crimson Blaze. You guys have seen V Passion in Eagle's Nest. There's a great video by V Passion themselves on how they're doing really well this format with Royal Knights, with Jessamon. So definitely check them out going forward. But I think the biggest inclusion we're gonna say for this deck is that we're just I don't know, all red all day. Craniomon's a really nasty card as well. That's why it's here. It's a 1-of. Alphamon always makes sense to me as a 1-of because getting the recovery is really important for potentially someone cleared your security and you want this Omecamon to be alive. Gallon promo Gallon is busted. Obviously the Omnimons are super busted all day, but the biggest card they got recently was Digital Gate Open. It's just a good card for them. They always have a white Digimon on board, so as long as you play Digital Gate Open, you can play Hokuto or the Cool Boy. Sometimes you're seeing Digimon Emperor as well. We're playing Marcus Damon to clear Floodgates, and then Crimson Blaze is here just because Crimson Blaze just stops Huddy for a turn, and it's amazing. Purge of the Royal Knights at 1, the Last Guardian at 4, and yeah, that's gonna be our 1 Royal Knights. We even had time to fill in a Sister Mont Blanc, which I still think is amusing, especially since we're all pretty much all red black top end minus the original BT13 Omni. Yeah, Decoy is good. That's all I have to say. We're gonna go 1 more Mastemon. So this is gonna be, yeah, we had 3 Mastemons. How did I forget about that? No. Yeah, we did have 3 Mastemons. I gotta fix that. Yeah, we had 3 Mastemons. Sorry, we had 3 Mastemons. This video's all over the place. I haven't done this in a minute. Anyway, top 4, Veer, Mastermon, pure, once again on the pure Mastemon list, except we have time to fit in Venus and Ordinemon. Ooh, Ordinemon is still a brutal card. If someone's ever able to DNA into this, it's still such a disgusting card. And with the again, the pure yellow Holy Beast lineup, I want to call it. And the bottom end, we found time for Kari. But I guess since none of the Mirais are a memory setter, and you can cheek out a memory potentially with this card as well. Amber Memory Boost, Blinding Ray. Yeah, I would, pretty similar to the first Mastemon list we watched today. We had today, but Sorry. Yeah, and then even Ruin mode is here. Venus, Mass J, and then Beelzemon can't play by effect. Gotta be careful because you are also playing by effect. But that being said, not bad, not bad. Pretty cool indeed. So that being said, let's go. We're still in top 4, so our last of our top 4s that we're going to talk about is another Hudiemon. Of course it is. This is going to be Jambo's CS Hudiemon with no options, but all of the restricted to 1 zero cost options here, except for the only one we don't have is Ice Wall, or sorry, Hammer Spark here, Ice Wall 2, I guess. But definitely interesting here is definitely the fact that we are on Sumemon. When any of your Digimon with unidentified or CS are played, draw 1, which this deck does. Everything CS. We're seeing more Palmon, more Terriermon. First time we see Golemon. On top of that, we again cutting in the Ryujis and then a higher account of Yugos. Hidden Potential is also a disgusting card, especially with how this deck plays sometimes. Win rate 60% helps the Hudiemon situation, especially since I think either of the Terriermon or the Palmon can go into Hudiemon with the 60%. Let me reread this. If you have a tamer, yeah. Next time one of your Digimon digivolves this turn, you may trash 1 card in your hand of the same color as the digivolving Digimon to reduce the memory cost. So, oh, okay. So as long as you have, like, you can even be Gatsumon, discard gold to digivolve into Hudi. That's really interesting. Obviously there's a lot of color overlap in this deck, so it's pretty easy to always have something to discard with Hudi to digivolve into Hudiemon, which Hudiemon does digivolve for 4. So that's one of the pain points this deck has, is that if they are promoting a rookie, digivolving 4 is a lot. Obviously the tamers help you do get over the hump there. But yeah, no, congrats on that. This is going to be top 4 Jambo. Now we get to talk about second place, and it's still around, everybody. Growl X, still a menace, still a nuisance. Luke Bennett, proving to everybody that this deck is still here, and it's still alive to destroy everybody. With that said, it is still just Growlmon, right? We have our collections of Guillaumons at the top, maxing out on the on-play trash 1, draw 2. X antibody, our collection of level 4s. We got the Cerberus package middle, and then into our Restramon Superior mode. Always more attacks is always good. We got the Nidhogg to discard more memory. We have our Rush Gallantmons to back it up. Leviamon, still a great little alligator to play. And then our collection of one-of options that we can no longer play, and then maxing out on boost trainings as purple decks always do. 2 scrambles seems to be the mainstay. Demonic Disaster is so we have more second calling essentially to self-delete our Digimon and continue the combos going. So with that said, let's go into our final champion of the night. This is going to be Thomas Tex on Hudiemon, getting first place here at the OPE regional in Europe here, and it's going to be another option variant with a Golemon. So everyone's been a little different. We're going to see the return of Erica and Wormmon. No backup Shakao, no backup level 5, but even cutting a Shakao is interesting. But again, we're going to see Ice Archery, Vulcan Palm, Comet Hammer, Yugo, Ryuji, 2 Venusmon, Golemon makes a return, which I think Golemon's not bad, especially when this Digimon suspends. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4K or less. Kinda nasty. Like, I think this just randomly, especially, I think people with the DP minus, this guy goes nuts. I can understand why people don't play him all the time though. So I'm not like, oh, people need to be on this card. This is a sleeper card. I don't think it's a sleeper card. I just, yeah, I don't know. I think it's good, but I understand why it's not in every list. With that said, I think we've yapped enough, everybody. So this is eggmanevents.com, links in the descriptions below. Thank you so much for being here and listening to me yap about Digimon, man.